How you doing, good people? This is the 8-Bit Animal. And I know over the month or so we've been doing this so far that I've mentioned the name TOSE a lot. TOSE was an early developer for the NES. They worked on stuff for everybody from Capcom to SNK to Jaleco. Everybody has something developed by TOSE in their catalog. And that's interesting to me because companies you wouldn't expect to have dealt with a developer like TOSE dealt with them. TOSE's catalog of stuff that they've worked on runs the gamut from good to bad to ugly to just plain weird. Today's game falls in the category of the just plain weird that kind of skews a little close to really good. It was published by Jaleco. Like I said, developed by TOSE. And it takes a really interesting twist when it comes to a pinball title. Today, we'll be talking about Pinball Quest. Now, remember in the teaser for today's video, at the end of yesterday's video where I talked about that one bad game, I mentioned that this was something that was probably thought up in a rock opera or something? Well, I said that because Pinball Quest is a melding of a fantasy RPG with a pinball game. So, yeah. What I said sticks. The game has several different modes. It has, 3 different traditional tables. And then it has the RPG mode. And the RPG mode is what makes the meat of Pinball Quest. It takes place over several different tables, and you play as a sentient pinball who has to rescue Princess Ball from Beelzebub. Yeah, it's the most well-tread, well-worn fantasy RPG story ever. But it's a cool story. It's cool in the scope that it's never been done in a pinball game up to this point. This kind of reminds me of how in the early days of the TurboGrafx-16, pretty much a big chunk of their games had like a story mode in them, like their Top Players Golf and Victory Run, stuff like that had like story modes in them that just felt weird and shoehorned in. And this kind of felt, at first glance, it feels shoehorned in, but there's a shop system. And the shop system is really cool because in addition to buying items, you can also attempt to steal items from the store. Now, if it doesn't work out, you'll get beat up, but you can try to steal from the store. It's real realistic. But yeah, man, this game at first glance it looks weird. The tables scroll pretty well. The flippers follow your progress up and down the screen. So you advance a screen, the flippers will pop up at the next screen, and vice versa. If you fall to a lower portion of the table, the flippers will reappear at the bottom of the screen. They'll scroll back down. It's wild though that this is something that pops up in 1990. Yet again, 1988 to 1990, 91, NES sweet spot. They did a lot of weird stuff, a lot of really cool stuff around that time frame. And this might be the coolest, weirdest thing TOSE did on the NES. This game, like I said, it plays well enough. As far as video pinball, it scrolls and like the screen movement, things like that, work better than a lot of other pinball titles on the NES. And everything just works right. There's no real complaint here from me. But if you decide to go on this trip and take this journey, it's easy because this game is cheap. You can get a copy for like $5. It's dirt cheap. There's no real hard time getting a copy. If you want a complete copy, you could probably get one for like $50. It's easy to get a copy of Pinball Quest. So you should, and relish it, because this was probably the best thing for a while. This was the best thing up to that point that TOSE had done. Easily. This has been the 8-Bit Animal. I'll catch you beautiful people tomorrow. Tomorrow. So, wait. He stole a ring and then plunged the kingdom into darkness. Are we sure he just didn't pay the power bill?